Gentlemen, Voodoo.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Hey, we got a Green Day.
Do we?
A little bit.
And I knew like the other day when we say Phantom was a Green Day, but I didn't know about today. Haven't looked. Been too busy
It's
with these Strange God drops.
so
So
much to talk about. We got Strange Gods going on. We tried to say Phantom the other day, and that has now minted out. Uh, where do you want to start?
well, I'm starting by asking our admins to make a post about this show.
Cool.
Um, I I'm just fired up, dude. This is the most action-packed week, and I am so thankful the bleeding stopped for Phantom, so that we could get on with a lot of fun stuff. And I really do feel like the NFT community on crypto Twitter, at least, turned the sentiment tide to at least just have fun in the midst of pain. And so it's been, over the weekend, turned from really terrible sentiment online to just having a lot of fun with Sarge's Gigapunk. And then, today we've got the Phantom Baby Punks Mint. Tomorrow we've got Teens on Acid, Acid Cats on AVAX. And then we have NFT staking launching today, which is, I haven't even seen the final website, so I'm so excited for that. And then we've got the Cyber Phantomic Mint on Friday. And then next week we've got Danetron on Friday. We've got the Cross Chain Auction Wednesday. So like the next 10 days are just so packed with incredible things. Like I really don't know where to start because I'm just fired up about everything. So
Well, I want to touch on. Let's start with the auction. We've had two super successful cross-chain auctions so far. We've donated $2,000 to a Deliver Fund so far.
yeah, I don't know the exact total, but yeah, I'd say it's right around there. Even with the price of Phantom down, I'm really excited for when Phantom's back up because it's probably going to be about $2,000 every auction, every mint, if not more, when Phantom's even just at $2. So yeah, it's awesome that we're. I just feel like everything's coming together. It's
Yeah.
not. It's coming together during a bear market, which is pretty cool because I'm really excited to see what happens when the sentiment turns. Um, because we've just built such an awesome base. Our community is incredible. Um, I haven't heard one person whining and complaining about floor prices, even though they've been down overall across the NFT ecosystem. Like it's just been, I don't know, it's been a really special time where I've seen our community come together. So
Yeah, it's been great. Yeah, to touch back on the auction, it was one of my favorite things I've seen, and we understand like what Tombheads did for so many artists in our ecosystem, and still does for new artists. Um, Seeing the tweets from some of these AVAX artists and the Tezos artists, they get so excited about this experience in the auction house, and then like I know guys like Tap Tap and Tunch, like their collections went nuts after. Like you
yeah,
can't get their pieces anymore. Um, so that's really fired them up, and now they're talking to their friends, and we're getting DMs from different artists across the ecosystems. They're saying, "Hey, I would love to participate in the auction."
yeah, no, it's awesome. I'm in constant communication with AVAX and Tezos artists, and even on the Phantom side, it's like we already have so many great Phantom auctions, and so there's so many outlets for artists, but there's just something special. I think a lot of people, even collectors, have wanted a midweek auction um, because like I know for me, Sundays, which is like the prime Tombheads day, that I wish I could just be on there for 4 hours every week. I used to be for a month or two when I first started and was buying everything I could, and then that's our family day. So my wife was just like, no more. You got to unplug that one day a week. And so I know for me, that took a lot of the fun of the auctions away because I couldn't do that. And then Friday nights is FAC, and that's our date night. So I was like, midweek auction is perfect. No one else is going to do it. We better try it on the midweek. And you know, to have over 200 our first one and to have over 170 our second one. I mean, those numbers are crazy. And so I'm so excited for where that's heading. The quality of artists, the artists that are coming over to Phantom, like some of them are coming and minting collections on Phantom. They're on Tezos, they're on ETH, they're on AVAX, but they're saying, hey, I see the value in bringing my art to this community. And then we've had the same thing. We've got Phantom artists now starting one of one collections on AVAX. So it's just really cool to see, I guess, the cross pollination of great collectors and great art.
Yeah, you're spot on. And it's the idea of like, I think it helps our brand too, because we are an art first brand. We're trying to bring every utility you can think of, but the art is the first focus. So now continuing this culture under the Potluck ecosystem, I think is super important. Um, and I think it's only going to just benefit. And again, we talk about this flywheel, like, you know, not only are we going to be just showcasing incredible art and building our brand through this auction house, but then the funds from the auction house that we take are going into our NFT staking pools, which goes right back into the community, which brings the value to our NFTs. Uh, and
Yeah.
we're starting to see some of our game theory stuff start to kick in finally. If people have a little bit of patience and let the builders build, this stuff starts to come. So let's talk about the strange gods. We started
Well,
with the potluck pigs. That mint
yeah.
was 35 Phantom or 30 Phantom?
Potluck Pigs was 30 Phantom.
30.
Um,
Then we get the free airdrop of strange ones. That
yep.
floor is now 30 Phantom. We minted the strange pigs for 35 Phantom. And already now you're seeing the floors because we're on the fourth generation, the deflationary burn mechanism of sacrificing your three pieces
Yep.
to get a god. You're seeing floors rip on the other collections.
Yeah. Definitely. And those collections like Strange Ones and Potluck Pigs have held their value really well, especially Potluck Pigs. It's rare to see anything below 25 Phantom typically, like, and then a lot of times it's been at the floor or higher. And there's been seasons where the floor was 40, 45 when the market was better. Um, but to see in today's climate, like with the price of Phantom under $1 and people selling off anything they can cheap to get liquidity, to like help with their leverage positions and their loans and stuff, to see the floors go up to what they've gone to, basically to 50% or 2x, with what's amounting to essentially like a free mint for people. It was something that we had in the roadmap from the beginning, and we just needed people to be patient enough for it to come to fruition. And those who were patient enough, they're gonna reap the benefits, even if it's just like the quality of the art of these strange gods. The like slice that up, our artists did just such an incredible job. It's an MP4, like you mentioned earlier. The only thing that could have made it better is if music was on it, because it could have like some epic, soundtrack as he pulls out his weapon and everything. But just to have something totally unique, different. He handcrafted every item. And I even saw there was like a few items that I'd seen on marketplaces and stuff, and I was like, "Hey man, did you make these?" He's like, "No." He's like, "I looked and I'd see things that I liked, and then he handcrafted every single thing in Blender." And so just the amount of work he put in for something that people are just burning other NFTs to make. Like, he's not making money from this; he's just delivering value. I just think a lot of times when people do free mints or things like this, maybe they don't put as much effort in, and I think he just put an incredible amount of effort in. And speaking of that, another artist who just did that was FTM Dead with his free mint
Mm.
he just did. He released it at 2 a.m. my time, so I was asleep, so I missed it. So I had to go on NFT Key last night or this morning and start buying some. Um, but what are they? Bad News Bears? Is that what they are? Or
Yeah.
something like that. They're like really sad looking bears who you just got to buy them to save them. But same thing. It's like, man, this is incredible quality for a free mint just to deliver value to the ecosystem. So I
The
really
bad
love
trip
it.
bears.
What was that?
The
Bad
bad
trip.
trip bears.
Bad trip bears. They do look like a lot of them had drugs, so they look like they took a bad trip. Um, hey, I want to point something out real quick because we've got Sarge in the audience and his mints coming up, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, this episode, at least on my side, I don't know. I guess he couldn't send money to Canada, but this show is sponsored by Sarge and official NFTs. Let's go. I can't go too low
Oh, it's
because
so
part of the
good.
sponsorship was that this could be the only item of clothing that I'm wearing. So it's buck naked here, just rocking the shirt. But seriously, from D'Lo and James, I'll say your name because you've been on here. Official NFTs, man. Really appreciate you sending me this. I'm super excited for people with their communities collection to be able to buy their NFT on a shirt, and it's gonna be pretty awesome. So I also know we're working on doing that exact same thing for the Astro kids with them, and excited to start leaking some images. But him and Teens, this is some alpha. They had a design session yesterday, sent me over the stuff to give feedback, and they're going to be like the sickest shirts ever. So you'll be able to take yours and buy your actual exact Astro Kid
On an
on an
official
official
NFT.
NFT shirt. Yeah.
Ooh.
And they're not this basic, they're not the basic style that's typical of them, where it's just like the logo on the front and then the arms. Like they've custom designed the front, the back, the
See
arms.
this. I'm gonna be
Ooh.
dead honest. This is I've been talking to James forever about this, and this is where I seen official NFTs like making the next step was just being the brand behind it all. Like they're the because they've been around now. Like they've got the quality control down. Like they've got everything down. We trust them as a brand. Now to have the artist put their art on their brand, this is I think where merchandise starts getting crazy. And again, now you start bringing awesome merchandise into the real world, and now normies start going, oh, what is that?
Yeah. No, I'm really excited about that. I think it's gonna be so cool for people to be able to just come up, scan your arm at a public place. Like I'd just walk up to people if they're wearing a QR code and just be like, "Hey, I got to scan you. I got to see what this is." But yeah, I mean, it's you just take the brand to the next level. This is like crazy early level alpha, but I haven't even told you yet. And since we don't get a chance to talk as often, let's just talk. I'm talking to a voxel artist about making a few of our collections. Astro Kids may be included, um, so that we can have them in Slothopia and in all these metaverses with voxel characters, just like the Bit Damons are doing. And
Mhm.
so early talks, but the artist is incredible and it's looking very promising. So, um, and just so you know, like that would be the type of stuff that we wouldn't make you go pay extra in mint. It would be like you need to own the previous collection to be able to get it.
Yeah.
Um, so, if there's, I think we've got holders, period. But if there's another reason to hold our stuff, I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah. I mean, again, the idea of where it's art first. So it's like kind of PFP art first, but then nearly every utility you can think of, we're trying to deliver.
Yeah,
Um, just takes a little bit of time.
definitely. Um, Man, I'm looking at these strange gods, and that crystal body is so sick. It's like the white, like I mean, that's what it is. It's crystal looking, but it's so sick because when the wings move, it like reflects across the body. It's like you can see through the body to the wings behind it. So depending on what wings your god has, if I've seen like just the coolest looking colors in the crystals. So I'm just saying that because I've burned 7 sets so far, and I don't have any crystals. I don't have any of the ice body looking one, and I don't have a gold body. So like I don't something's wrong with me and my minting. I suck at minting. So I you minted how many sets did you do? 11 so far?
Yeah, I've done 11 so far. And
Okay.
man, that like so I want to just go through that a little bit. Cuz it was fun. Like this was a fun experience to go through. I didn't get too strategic on which ones I wanted to burn in terms of like rarity aspects cuz you know, I swept up a bunch of gold ones earlier and the play could have been to burn a bunch of my gold ones.
Ooh.
Um Now I went with I did have to burn one of them cuz that's all I got into, but I did go for more of the aesthetics. So I wanted to burn the ones that I thought just weren't as aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah.
In my head, it makes the collection much more aesthetically pleasing if everybody's doing that.
Yeah.
Um, but then so I'm doing all this, which is a lot of fun. It's kind of, you it's hard too at the same time making these sacrifices.
Yep.
Then I get on Opera House to go view them, and I think it's so cool that you see your god originally, but then you got to play the video for him to bring his hands up and reveal his weapon. So it's
Yeah.
almost like a little double surprise. I get the surprise of which god I'm getting when I see Opera House, and then I get the surprise of playing the video and seeing which weapon he's got.
So there's something really talking about aesthetics. The coolest aesthetic that I've seen so far is, besides just like the overall look of the crystal body, is there's this one, and I don't know what the feature is called. Maybe Plot Twist knows and he can post it. But it's the body that's at first, when it's a still image with its arms down, it just looks all green. But then when it moves, it's kind of like faded, like it'll be bluish green, and like it's, I don't
Mm,
know, some type of rainbow effect. But what's really cool is I've seen a few that had like green backgrounds, and the things in the, I don't know, there's a lot of layers in the background, but it's like all green. And then when the weapon's down, the body's totally green, and it just looks like the sweetest thing ever. But then when it brings it up, it changes colors in the light. And I'm like, I don't know how Slice That Up did this stuff.
yeah.
um I think he made up a word, magnedescent. That's the color, magnedescent.
All right.
I don't know if that's a real thing, but that's we're so good, we invent new colors. So
I like it.
um
Well, you want to jump
so
into topics because we got.
yeah, there's one other thing that I wanted to hit. Oh, before we get into topics, we are also working, just so you guys know, and this has been like super down low. Like we haven't posted about it on Discord, Twitter, or anything. I don't believe. Maybe I leaked alpha somewhere. But we are working with an artist right now who's building an interactive NFT game. I did mention it on like in the spaces I did. I think that was it. But we're having an NFT interactive NFT game, and it's basically going to be like Galaga, if you've ever played that back in the day, arcade game where you're like a ship and you move around and you shoot the things that fall down at you. It's similar to that, but you're actually, I'm not going to spoil what the characters are, but your character is going to be one of our NFTs. I think you may be able to choose when you start the game which character you want to be, and then the things that are coming at you are also different NFTs of ours, and it keeps score. And so we'll be able to have like a leaderboard and
Mm,
contests, and that will be our first Labs mint, where the only way you'll be able to mint it is with Labs tokens, and we're going to make it super affordable. So like anybody who's held much of ours for any length of time will be able to mint and be able to play a game and just have fun. And so that'll also be a very unique NFT that there's nothing like it at all on Phantom. And we're super excited to bring that. And we've been working with the team at Opera House to help make sure that that's going to be, fun and successful. So super excited about that. You want the login or anything, you'll be able to play it right in your wallet. So it's going to be sick.
that's awesome. Yeah, just
So
nonstop. Like we're trying to bring as much utilities to the Labs token as possible. Staking pools open up today for Fang LP. It's exciting times, ladies and gents.
yeah, no, it is. Ooh, exciting times. The voxel artist said, "So when can I get started? Can I start today?" Oh,
Exciting times.
so much alpha. I got too much stuff to do today to be telling her what to do. But um, it's a female artist too. She's incredible. So um, yeah, let's get
Speaking of
into
that,
the
I just want to
oh,
bring up. You mentioned female artist. Somebody that's coming into her own, which has just been amazing to watch. Mashao or
yes,
Mashao. The way
yeah,
her interaction on Twitter now, she is really just coming into her own, and I love it.
yeah. So I had a conversation with all of our artists, and this is no secret. Um, but Teens on Acid has been the example. So we've had a lot of great artists. Like most every artist we've ever worked with have been great to work with. We love them. But he's been the example for any NFT artist from any chain to be able to look at and say, how do I build a community? How do I build a brand? Um, but it all starts with the fact that this guy has lived and breathed his style and his art for decades. Okay, so this is not new stuff for him. It's just the new medium of NFTs. But hearing his story, and I'm sure he'll share this on tomorrow, but hearing his story about how he almost gave up. He had his 101 collection on OpenSea, and nobody cared. And it was like nobody was buying, and he almost gave up. And this was less than a year ago. You know, he like started his NFT journey about a year ago. And about 6 months ago, he was at the point where he almost gave up. And now he's at a point where he's got a one of one, he's got multiple one of one collections. He's sells every week at Tombhead's auction like a beast. He sells at our auction. His pieces go for thousands of Phantom, you know, 1,000 plus almost every time. And now after tomorrow, he'll have sold out two 3,300 piece generative collections, which on Phantom, I don't know if anyone sold out two 3,300 piece collections. You know, that's a Phantom artist. Maybe there's been a few, but um, actually, I'd say there's probably none that have done two. But maybe Phantom Boy. Maybe he's may have done that now with cross chain stuff. But
Mm.
the point is, he set the example for what it means to interact, to get involved with your community, to let people know that like you're in it with them, like you're living and breathing this stuff. And the thing is, every artist that we have lives and breathes their art. They just, a lot of them haven't been coached. They don't know about how to do it because most artists just work in the quiet. They're behind the scenes people who, you know, they may slave away for 2 months on a piece and it shows in a gallery for one day and it sells. So I mean, it's a lot of time in the dark and a little bit of time in the light. And the thing about NFTs is you can spend 2 months working on a collection in the dark and then bring it to the light and try to sell it. And unless you've spent those 2 months building a community, it's not gonna happen. So I had a conversation in Temple, like you were instrumental in this as well, of being like, man, we need our artists to realize that that's the way you do it. You've got to be involved. And so I told everyone, and we said, man, you've got to be active in Discord. So if you're listening to this and you're an artist or you're looking as a collector, which projects should I believe in? Or what do I need to see from my artist to maybe increase the value of our projects? Just talk with them about this, help them out with it, or just seek out projects already doing this. But look for the ones that are active and involved in the community, that are active on Discord or Twitter, um, and that are showing you sneak peeks along the way, are not just posting, but interacting with you in a real way. That
So you
builds
bring
genuine
up that's a
community.
great point. I just want to touch on that because
Yeah,
L, who doesn't have a Discord, so it's very
yeah,
successful, doesn't have a Discord. You cannot comment on anything that involves her without her going through every single one of her tweets and like re-interacting with you.
yes,
Like I swear she puts hours out of her day just to go through her Twitter notifications and make sure she interacts with every single post. So she doesn't have a Discord. She's not putting her time towards that.
yep.
She's putting her time towards building a community on Twitter. But you have to do that.
And she actually had not, I don't know if she made the post, but she was instrumental in this conversation on Twitter the other day about wishing that artists and people in general, but especially artists and NFT communities, would take their conversations out of Discord and bring them to Twitter so that it exposes more people to the conversation, brings more light. So I also think I was just talking about teens because he's art, you know, an artist with Potluck. But I think L is another example that any artist, male or female, can look at and say that is an example of what it takes to be a successful NFT artist. Like checks off every single box. So great point. But yeah, so going back to that conversation, told them what to do. A few artists have done it. And also like live streaming. I think that's a huge thing that happens in like Tombheads, Southern Empire. There's a lot. I don't want to try to name them all because there's a lot that are doing them now. But Southern Empire with their collections has done a great job, and then letting other artists come in and just live stream. So we started doing that last week, and now we have a channel where any of our artists at any point, if they'd like to just start a live stream of them working on the art, connect with their community, they can do that. And that was just us trying to learn from other people who are doing it well. But yeah, Masha, and her name, it looks like Masha on Twitter and stuff, but her name's Masha. Um, and then, but Masha, she's like, I mean, she's from Russia. English is not her native language, so that's a challenge for her in doing like voice chats and stuff, but she can type and, you know, communicate really well that way. And so she's just, even though it's uncomfortable for her, definitely because her English is not, you know, not where she feels like she doesn't want to look dumb or something, like, or ignorant, but she's doing her best. And I think now where she's like taking on not just posting pictures, but making the story and the world of her
Yeah.
characters come alive. by building in lore and stuff. I think it's incredible. So yeah, big props to her. And I hope that everybody listen to this just really, hopefully you learn some things that you can take away.
It's
Last
it's
thing
little it's little things, like, even just her image with the graphics of the weapons. That the little bit of time just to have that Twitter post of that image with the weapon graphics and how many of them they're gonna be, those are those little extra steps that, like, Teens was doing with the downloadable wallpaper content. It's the
yeah.
little extra steps that just build a community big time.
So with that, if you are an artist or an aspiring artist, like you got skills, maybe you don't have your own collection yet or whatever, but there's a lot of people that we see, man, these people got some incredible skills in the community from doing the different contests that different projects will run to do derivatives. So our potluck community collection, we still have till the 13th. So we got 10 more days for people to submit for that. But you may want to go ahead and get your submission in now because, or in the next couple days, because we are launching something called the Potluck Labs Growth Sessions, and they're designed to bring value to our auction artists, our Potluck Labs artists, and included in the Potluck Labs artists that will have access to these growth sessions, these private coaching sessions with top tier artists, are going to be anybody who submits into the community collection. Okay, so at the end, it'll be anyone that we approve. So I don't know. I don't think there's any pieces that have been submitted right now that are like real low quality that we wouldn't approve them for the collection. So I think everyone who's submitted so far is good. But starting this next week, I think we'll probably do it Monday. We're going to have our first private session, and it's going to be about an hour long AMA. Voice in a private, you have to have a role in our Discord to get into the channel, but it's going to be a session with Teens on Acid, and he's going to coach you, mentor you on just here's what I did, here's what works, here's what didn't work, and then allow you to ask questions. And so we really want to help the artists. And then the following week, we're going to have Sarge on. And so we've got Teens on Acid and Sarge. So we're just trying to add value
This
to artists, but we don't want to we're not exclusive. We're like, hey, any artist, anybody can submit to the community collection. And just by doing that alone, gets you access to this type of free coaching and mentoring.
I think this is massive because not you mentioned that this brings huge value to the artists. Um, and in the end, when the artists are growing and learning off each other, that in the end brings a ton of value to the collectors. So yeah, I think that's a huge ecosystem benefit. And again, it gets artists talking, collectors talking. Uh, I'm super intrigued to see these growth sessions when you have, the AVAX artists listening to Teens, and vice versa. When we have an AVAX artist in there doing a growth session, and we have Fantom people listening to them. Um, yeah, this is one of the biggest pieces I think for us going forward.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. And that really, it was just an idea. It came out of, talking with teens and even seeing someone as successful as him go through the struggles, the doubts, the things you go through as an artist, especially in this type of space where people don't just buy your art because they like it. They buy it to flip it. Sometimes the floors drop and you question yourself, and sometimes people don't mint your projects. I've been talking to like really established artists that I respect and think are incredible, but due to the market conditions right now, and maybe they're marketing themselves, their projects just they're not selling out the way they thought, and you can really go through some doubt. And I think just putting artists together to learn and to fuel off each other is going to be amazing. And I need to submit something so I have access to it. No, just kidding. We'd reject me for the collection. So I think I'm just gonna roll myself and hop in. So, but yeah, let's in tinfoil. You can do the same. You can do that as well. So,
I'm
hey,
drawing.
bucket on the Umin bucket hats. Do you find that fits your head perfectly, or is it a little tight, or is it loose?
My first one was a little bit loose. I have two. The first one was a little bit loose. Second one was a little tighter.
Are they the same? Like, is there just one size option when you buy it?
Yeah, it is one size option.
Did you see the guy on Twitter who, I think it was Benedict? He posted that like what's the god or like the big god dude from Infinity War with the hand with the glove? He's the one who
Oh,
dies.
Thanos.
Yeah, they've got Thanos with a tiny little Uman hat trying to fit on his head, and he goes, "This is me trying to fit my new Uman hat on my massive head." So apparently,
Oh,
He
that's
he
funny.
has to wear it as a yarmulke, the new Uman yarmulke. So
That's funny.
okay, let's jump into the topics. Sorry, I saw the Uman picture behind you. Easily
Yeah,
distracted.
that's so funny. I have to find that. All right.
So do we have? Okay, there we go. What's minting? Well, I'll just point out a couple real quick, and then we also want to hit on some on AVAX since we've got mint coming up tomorrow on AVAX. Obviously, in just a couple hours, what will be minting? 2 hours, the party starts where there's going to be tons of giveaway. Excuse me, tons of giveaways for the Phantom Baby Punks. Like Sarge said, he just wants to give away stuff the entire time. And he was like, no dead air. And I was like, I don't know if you've been to our mint parties. I think you've been to like every one, but there's no dead air. But he's like, no, I'm just gonna do giveaways constantly. I was like, all right, well, I'm sure people will like that. So show up to that. That'll be minting. There'll be less than 1,000 available of the baby punks because there was 1,300 in the supply, but each holder of his OG punks could mint three. So there's less than 1,000 available. That's going to mint out so fast, and so many great artists have legendary ones in there. So you're going to want to be there for that. FTM Deads, Gen 2 Gimpies are still minting. Dino King, his what are they called? What are his dinos
Uh,
that are
yeah, little dinos.
little dinos? Yes, those are awesome. They're still minting. What else in the chat? Go ahead and name any in the chat, and then Tinfoil, if you want to hit some of those ones on AVAX, I don't know if anyone gave us. We were in a chat earlier, and they were giving us some alpha on what we should be looking for in AVAX, since a lot of our people are going to be bridging over some funds for the Acid Cats tomorrow, and you may not be able to buy as many as you want because it's minting out. So you might want to know what else to do with it.
So, in terms of AVAX projects that are minting, Swarms is the big one. Swarms AI, which is like the bees. That's
Yep.
just wild art. They got an
Yes.
awesome roadmap. That's just an incredible high quality project they've been building for a long time. So Swarms, same along the same lines, the Cloud Heads. I
Love
know
them.
you got in on them. We just had them auction off a legendary at our cross chain auction. That's
Yeah.
another great project. They've got a deflationary mechanism. I think you got to burn a certain amount of cloud heads to get a custom one.
Yeah. Yeah, you burn 5 to get a custom one, and then that custom one, it's a lot like the Stone Gods. I think we're going to do an AMA or something with them to talk about it before they're mint. But it's a lot like their mechanism where to combine with the DeFi aspects, you don't get to participate in the DeFi aspects with just the original mint. You have to then burn. So Stone Gods, you're gonna have to burn 3 to create like to get you one of these special ones. And that special one, I think with theirs is like a node or something. And I think they haven't shared all the alpha, but it's similar
Mm.
where to be able to participate in their token or their tokenomics system, you have to have 5 cloud heads. So they're one AVAX each. So basically, for 5 AVAX, then you can get a custom 101 and then also be able to earn tokens, which hopefully will pay for what you bought.
A couple projects on Phantom that I like minting. I seen him in here earlier, CIO from Half Deads. So there's only 1,000 Half
Yes.
Deads at 50 Phantom. I think the art is fucking incredible. So that one's still minting. One that I kind of just went in on recently, Turtles. It's a really cool animated NFT. It's got music. You get rights to the music, so you can use the beats. Um, Illuminati Congo and I are already in talks with them. We're going to be doing some stuff with them, putting some lyrics on some of these beats. Uh, yeah, and it's only a supply of 500. So
Huh.
I like the tight supply. I like the music aspect, and I like the copyright ownership stuff.
I wonder why nobody called me when it was talking about doing lyrics. Nobody messaged me.
Yeah,
I'm part of the team, guys.
we need some voodoo bars.
The
The other one
plot twist.
actually.
Plot twist raps too, man. He's got like
Oh,
recorded music. Yeah, dude. You've got to hear it. Actually, when Illuminati Congo heard that plot twist did, he said they can do songs together. So I don't know if you knew you had that type of competition within the team, but I'm
I
coming for both of
didn't.
you. I'm
I
coming. I
didn't.
just got to Google some lyrics real quick and then copy and paste. So
So we'll have a potluck rap battle session.
let's go.
The other one I've been seeing a lot lately, Space Legends. Now I think Nimbus is involved in this one.
Yeah,
Um,
like everyone's involved in that one. Funeral, Maze Papa, they're involved in like the dev side. Um, Nimbus, he's not the main artist, but he's helped. It's a friend of his, I believe, who's the main artist.
Okay.
And then they're doing when they mint out, they're like gonna raffle off and pick one of like do a raffle, pick one of the holders, and they're gonna be able to take one of the zero gravity trips to like the edge of outer space. So that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like I'm working really hard to like build some code to like rig that system. So that I can just mint one and then ensure that I get to go to outer space. So I'm going to be working on that for the next month.
Oh, love it.
There's a couple others. Let's see, Stephen Vinyl and Fatbirds too. Yeah, they're minting Stephen Vinyl. They have staking for real high APR still on DMD. I'm not sure how much time's left on those, but obviously those guys have a special place in our heart because we launched, their first collection, and Stephen's like a track with that collection through Potluck, and just seeing the success and seeing what Ned Peppermint's done with Fatbirds, and just how he's become an auction artist and just everything. He's just really grown a ton. So we're super excited for that, and would love to see it sell out.
And then I think the big mint, and it's going to kind of just naturally happen, is the strange pigs. So as you're seeing
Yeah,
the floors on the potluck pigs, the strange one, and the strange pigs fly up, eventually that's going to hit the point of the 35
yeah,
FTM mint price of strange pigs, and then people are going to realize, oh wait, we need to go mint that out.
yeah. So the one tricky thing, really the only reason it didn't mint out originally, is a whitelisting issue. It was like we basically is the we had a whitelist for platinum passes and everything, but there was an error. It's like the one mistake our our dev had made. And the whitelist can't be turned off, but we can add any address to the whitelist at any point. So if you, we basically added a ton of addresses. So if you owned any Potluck NFT, your address should be on there to be able to mint. But if you go on, it has a failed transaction, which you lose zero point 0.1 Phantom trying, and then you realize, man, maybe I'm not whitelisted. Just hop in the Discord or shoot us a message, and we'll get your address added and let you know when you can mint. But yeah, right now for the burning, you can keep burning, buying up the floor and burning, but we're less than 20 away from the floor being above mint price, and so just so everybody knows, like that's how close it is, maybe 25 away. And so as soon as those are bought, you're going to want to be minting, and that will mint out, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So, um,
Yeah, I guess we'll
yeah,
get
go ahead.
into underrated projects.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk about the. What's funny is on the underrated projects, you feel like right now that kind of goes on along with what's minting, because a lot of these ones that are still minting, it's because because of the market conditions, people just aren't getting the love that they should. But let's just, what do you have, as far as just maybe ones we haven't discussed already that you really feel like, man, people need to be paying attention to this because I think it's going somewhere.
It's also under the what's minting bracket, but Spiritopoli, we've talked about it a couple times. I seen Aspen posted a video recently of some of his game building. He's legitimately building this Monopoly game. So uh, you're gonna want to you're gonna need one to be able to play it. There's only 500 of them. 116 have been minted so far. But again, I just think Aspenth is going to be huge in our ecosystem. The documentary he's making on Fantom, this game, just his skill as an artist. Yeah, I'd want to be a part of this one. Uh,
Definitely.
in
Another one I
terms
was
of
thinking about. I want you to tell me about this one because it may have been on your list, but I want to hear about the monkeys on AVAX because that's all you've been tweeting about.
yeah,
And I saw it, and I don't know. I was real busy with other stuff, and I was like, I don't know. It's still minting. We'll see. But just from the look of them, I was like, this is going to be big because they just have that classic AVAX look of a successful project over there. And I missed it. So, but I didn't really miss it because the boat is not that far. It's still,
mhm,
what is it? Half an AVAX floor. It's obtainable
yeah,
right now.
half an AVAX. Yeah,
So tell me
yeah.
what
So
you
I mean
like about that.
that's the mint. First, it was AVAX has had a thing in the community with what they think is are expensive mints. Most AVAX mints have been like one AVAX plus. So to have these monkeys at a 4,000 piece collection, mint at zero point 0.3 AVAX, the community, you could just feel like there was a vibe to this. Like that was like almost like the first cheap mint that they had experienced. Um, then the big one for me, I had to step back for a minute because they're monkeys and apes is like their number one project. I did step back for a minute and go, ooh, should I just get some apes? Um, Now, when I seen the ape community supporting the monkey community, that's when it was like, all right, I'm in on this now. Um, as soon as you start to see communities start working
Yeah.
together and supporting each other, that's when it's like, all right, I'm game. Then you get into the analytics of it all. So I went hard on minting. I think I minted 20 of them. But
Yeah.
when you're looking at the numbers now, like it's minted out, it's 4,000 pieces. We've reached 500 unique owners.
Wow.
When you start looking at the other collections on AVAX, and you see that usually most of them have over 2,000 unique wallets, you start to realize that this price is probably getting a little bit crazy.
Yep. Yep. That's so because that's the smart thing is that, when you're looking at a collection and it's more, some people shy away from that. They'll be like, oh, this one only has 500 wallets. They typically have 2,000. That means there's just a bunch of people are going to be dumping. I would say if a collection has been around for a long time, that's the case. But when a collection has just minted out, like within a week, and it has some good volume, that is the phase where everyone's FOMOing in, and you just look at the floor. If the floor hasn't gone crazy yet, then it's still a good time to hop in. Like right now, it's not even a 2x a mint price. I'd say there's still room to hop in. Not financial advice, but
The
it
the
seems like
other
something.
the other telling feature is when you start to see when people are like sniping ones that they care about. Like it's
Mhm.
not that the floor is just getting swept up; it's that people don't care about the floor and they're just
Yeah,
grabbing certain traits and stuff. When you start to see a lot of that happen, then you start to go, okay, the good collectors are sniping the good ones. The floor is just going to come as people
yeah.
who can just afford to get in on these communities. Like that's what your floor is for.
Yeah, so that's same exact thing happening with Bit Shadows right now,
Right. Right.
um, and that's because it looks like they're releasing. I didn't see a I saw a picture from Limit Break, but it looks like they're developing. I don't know if it's a game or just animated, like animated pixel ones that match the exact one you have. And so when it comes to something like that, where okay, something's coming and it's based off aesthetics, not based off rarity, then you have people who are just buying whatever they like. And so I saw a ton of people like, oh, someone's sweeping the floor. And I was like, they're not sweeping the floor. I'm looking at the floor and it's not getting bought. They're buying 20, 30 Phantom above the floor because they like the way it looks. And so I remember I saw one alert from your Discord, from your bot, and someone had bought one for like 120 Phantom, and it was almost the least rare in the collection. It was two away from being the very least rare, and they bought it for like 30 above floor because they liked the aesthetics.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't make the mistake of just because it's on NFT key and its rarity is low. Man, people when collections take fire, people want stuff that looks good as well. So they want the top rarity ones, of course, but then it's pretty much like, man, I want it to look good. And so with a lot of these projects, they're going to be coming out with metaverse plays. They're going to be coming out with avatars. They're going to be coming out with things where you're like, I want one that looks good, just like the ancestral humans. Like, who cares what the rarity rank is? You're going to get an avatar that you can use in any metaverse that supports those files, which is pretty much everything. You could use it on web conference meetings. You could use it in so many places. So who cares? I don't care if it's rank number 500 or rank number 3,300. It's about, do I like the way this one looks? So when you're looking at the floor prices, don't just look and say, hey, which of these ones are on the floor to get me into the project? Do I like the way it looks the best? Because I'm going to be wearing this thing. So that'd be my advice.
Yeah, and the one thing I've been doing lately, especially with the monkeys project, is and I've already started doing it with other projects now too. Is just the straight trait hunting. When you go on NFT Key or one of the exchanges, Campfire, and you you go through all the traits and you just start to look for which which individual trait is kind of rare, and then and you can kind of start just looking at that trait and seeing how many of these pieces are listed that have this trait.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you start to realize that there's some traits that the community just went ham over, and that there's not many left. So for me, for Bit Shadows personally, anything with the Scully's bandana, like that's the trait I'm going after. And I think when you go on NFT Key, you can see those in the rarity rankings. Some of them aren't the most, or some of them are the most common, but that trait, like you're not going to find that trait anywhere near the floor.
Yeah. Hmm. I got distracted. Speaking of traits, I just was looking up strange gods on NFT Key to see how many we have. There's 202 right now. The floor price is
Wow.
170 Phantom. Only less than 10%, or right at 10% are listed. There's only 21 listed. And the floor within 6 goes to 250, and then it's 300 within 10, 550 within 15. So,
Wow,
but
and we're
once again,
already at over 200 have been created.
yeah.
So that
Yeah,
means over
so
600 NFTs have been burned.
no, so 450-ish, because we have 50 ultimate pass holders, and
Right,
so they
right.
all got airdrop one for free without having to burn. So there's been 152 times 3, so 456 NFTs burned from our collections right there. It's crazy. I'm just trying to work out how to get in that dead wallet. There's some value in there. So
Well, it's super awesome because like, I like this idea that you're ripping the collections down, because again, that makes the labs token a little bit more valuable, because
yeah.
now there's not as many NFTs in the ecosystem collecting a labs token. So when these labs mints start coming up in the GameFi aspects, this is all going to get so crazy. I love it.
Oh man, it's gonna be
Takes a little
awesome.
bit of patience for this stuff to kick in.
I know you gotta have the patience. I mean, you think we minted the potluck pigs, and here's the thing: there's 41,000 Phantom worth of potluck pig secondary sales. So it's not like they haven't been selling. I mean, there was a lot of volume, especially at first, just like every project on them. Um, but then, yeah, that was December 30th that we minted that, and now we're like finishing this chapter where we've done the roadmap. Like we've completed the mission here,
It's May.
and it's May. It's barely May, so it's over. It was like four months and a week. So that's where you're looking at 17 weeks, and in the process, four separate collections, tons of growth. We went from like being non-existent as Potluck Labs to where we are today in those those 17 weeks. That's how long we've existed. 17 weeks. That's crazy.
Wow.
That's
And we've crossed over 3,000 unique wallets.
3,000 unique wallets in 17 weeks, in the best community on Phantom, building the AVAC side. It's incredible. So, whew, memory lane
All right,
right there, man.
let's get into the artists.
Yeah, let's just spotlight a few that you've got on AVAX. We'll not
Yep.
take the full 5 minutes here. Just spotlight a couple, because there have been people that have been in our auctions. But when we asked the AVAX community today, hey, who should we spotlight? Like, who's underrated as an artist? I believe is what I didn't say underrated project. I said who's an underrated artist, and who'd they say?
So everybody that we have, so Tunch Cerdas,
Yeah.
incredible photographer. He actually just released a new collection. He's an artist, like a drawing artist too. I
Wow.
just seen a tweet today, released a new collection. So that's a guy keep eyes on, because I think he's just going to continue to build his brand. Been a professional photographer for 20 something years. Uh, on the photography, Justin the photographer, just a massive community member on AVAX. You can't go on an AVAX Discord or space without him involved in it. He does incredible macro photography. Uh, Definitely a guy to watch for. And again, his collection has went crazy since auction as well. Ali Ergen. Uh, Ali has these awesome the games we play. I
Yeah.
forget what this new collection's called. The Stage. Just a very very cool abstract style. Um, to me, again, it's one of these styles that's just that's a brand. That's a very unique style that they're just going to continue to build on, and that's a brand. Uh, our version, the AVAX version of Chaskai. This is the going joke we make. Tap tap kaboom. Uh, just his doodleverse that he's building is just so awesome. I love the art style. He's been just doing incredible at the auction, and his collection has went crazy since the auction. And speaking of monkeys, he did a collaboration with the monkeys team, and there is a tap tap kaboom one of one legendary monkey in the collection,
That's awesome.
uh,
I
which is it's the best one too.
we should have not told people about him until we went and swept his floors
I
because
know. I haven't even got one yet.
he's doing a collection with someone I'd never heard of, but we are going to be getting in contact with them to see if we can do something with them. But it's called Async Art, ASYNC Art, Async Art, and they do these. They've experienced interactive and with art that involves music. And so I thought at first he's like, "Hey, I'm releasing something with them." And at first I thought it was going to be something with music. And I was like, "Oh, that's awesome. That's cool." But it's not. It's an NFT that just like my background on my Mac right now is a background that changes colors or changes whether it's nighttime or daytime. This NFT will read whether it's
Right.
nighttime or daytime and it will appear differently.
I seen this. Yes.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And so that's awesome alone. But then I saw that they do auctions for these pieces. And their auction they currently have going is for a piece that's, I think, far less impressive with an artist that is established but only has like 7,000 followers. So it's not like some mega artist. And it is currently on bid for like 20 more hours. And the bid is at 20 ETH.
Wow.
$56,000 currently. And
Wow.
so that's where his art is going to go. So I'm looking into getting some of our artists to be able to be on that platform. Whether we make a dime or not doesn't matter. If we can get them to have that type of exposure, I think would be huge. And so, and to have some cool, innovative art like that, I think would be an awesome experience. So,
Man, I
yeah,
wonder
go
how
sweep
far off
his
we are.
floors.
I wonder how far off with. I like the interactive NFT thing. I wonder how far that is from um, like geolocation. Like if I
Yeah,
move
we talked about
location,
this
my
yesterday.
NFT can change,
That would be so sick.
right? Because then like it almost forces you to travel the world to try to see the different versions of your own piece. Like that's interesting.
Yeah, so like if you're say your NFT is like a girl and maybe it's like an avatar NFT. So like in your metaverse, and let's say you're in California, so it's like a beautiful like surfer chick, beautiful tan skin, blonde hair, just typical Baywatch. And then if you're like in Alabama or West Virginia or something, it's like your toothless cousin, um, and in overalls and all that. If you're not American, sorry, you probably have your own jokes there with that, but yeah, I think that could be our future is designing NFTs like that. So,
Yeah, that's super awesome. Oh man.
all right, let's move on. So hey, for GameFi, I don't know if you had anything you want to say real quick. I think we're trying to do a session. We were going to do it today, but they had to push it back because their team was on vacation. But it's with the team that was with the Shrooms, the Phantom Shrooms. They're building like it's kind of like the Tank Wars, but I mean, to me, it looks even cooler. Their team is
Ooh.
a bunch of game developers, so really excited to see what they're building. But Erebus and I think it's Life is Hell. I think that's the metaverse. It seems like this is going to be something that is playable like a video game. There's different paths you can choose, like an open world video game where you can create the value of your currencies. Like you can, based on what you choose to do, you can literally like play and earn. I believe is what it's going to be. It's a play and earn game, and they're having a mint where you can mint a generative avatar for that world for only 8 Phantom if you're whitelisted and 10 Phantom if you're not. And so that is like such an inexpensive cost to get into that world. And then they're uniting the worlds with Slothopia. And so
Yes.
that you can play those games together. And so I'm just so excited for what they're building. So that's all I wanted to hit on GameFi is just there's some amazing metaverse stuff being built that's very close to being playable on Phantom at like a really fun large scale. Not just like walk around, but like interact, like violence if you want to do that, trading if you want to do that, like farming. I mean, you can do all types of stuff. So I'm pretty pumped up about what they're building.
And that's when our community events will just take themselves to another level as well.
Oh
But
my
yeah, for
gosh.
GameFi, I wanted to mention Pocket Pals, the skin packs that they've been doing, these collaboration skins that they've been doing with Freud and Limit and Teens, fuck everybody. They are incredible, and I will be going ham on those. Um, the other one I wanted to mention was, uh, yeah, Sloughtopia. Again, the condos are coming soon. I've been seeing the condo previews. Like this is essentially going to be our version of On Cyber. Like we're
Yeah.
finally going to have a place to display our NFTs in an awesome way, build up our rooms and change the shit around. It's going to be that stuff I'm so excited for. And then the other one, I got to do an alpha test uh, with our weaponized country game night that we had. Triton was in there, and we got to play bobbleheads. Now, oh my gosh, it's like not Super Smash. Yeah, Super Smash Bros. That's how it
Oh,
runs. It was literally so much fun. There was 8 of us, and it's
that's
still
awesome.
early days, so you're only using the one avatar, but an hour we sat there and just played this thing. No problems. Like, and it was a fun time.
As the only person on the Potluck Labs team that's not married, I feel like you get to do fun stuff. It's like, oh, you get, hey, which one of you has free time? Oh, tinfoil. Okay, you get to write rap songs with Illuminati Congo. You get to play video games all day and alpha test, and the rest of us have to like, you know, make our wives coffee and clean the house and all that. So I'm glad you're living your best life. You know.
Yeah. Soon be metaverse girlfriend soon.
Oh my gosh, dude. I'm really hoping that just some of these guys generate like the hottest, just best catfishing metaverse avatars for that for Erebus's game because you guys can get tinfoil so easy in the metaverse. It's going to be embarrassing. So,
You ever
um,
watch that episode of Black Mirror?
yeah, yeah,
That's
yep.
just gonna
I
end up
know what
like.
you're talking about. Man, I'm actually terrified. I'm so glad I'm not single because I just watched this TikTok video. Man, I got on TikTok when my wife was out of town, and just because I was like, what am I? There's no shows I want to watch. Somebody sent me a TikTok video, and then I just couldn't stop watching all these funny
Oh,
things. And so it's just like terrible waste of time. But there's this lady, and she's like she's like really old, missing half her teeth, all this stuff, and then she
oh,
does this whole makeup deal and puts on a wig and looks like she's 25 years old. It's like the ultimate catfish. So I told my wife, I was like, if I was single, I'd be having every girl send me a picture before we went on a date with no makeup. Like you got to have a no makeup picture for us to do this.
yeah.
So I'm just thinking about the guys in our Phantom Maxi chat who are always simping like you are, and I just think that you should stay away from the girls who don't look real. Okay. Sorry, guys. We took this from NFT alpha to metaverse dating alpha. Okay. So just trying to help my boy.
It's a hard
All right.
world
Let's
out
finish
there.
strong. Let's finish strong. Okay. Um, we've got Teens on Acid tomorrow. I've got a Spaces I'm doing. You were talking about it earlier in an AVAX Spaces. I'm hopping on with a project, an AVAX project this afternoon, and we're going to kind of talk about their project, talk about ours. But Teens on AVAX is going to be huge. No whitelist, all public mint for half an AVAX, which for AVAX is super cheap. But then also, like, think about the monkeys. That was zero point 0.3 AVAX, but there was 3,000, right?
4,000 at point three. There's 1666 at point five.
Yeah. So it should fly. And immediately, because we're launching NFT staking today, immediately you'll be able to take them from AVAX if you want, port them over using layer one through Tofu's website, tofunft.com, in one click, bridge them to Phantom, and then stake them on Potluck Labs website or Potluck Protocol site. And you'll be able to earn Fang Phantom LP. And that staking will be a month long. And so not only is it only 1666, but I expect that supply to shrink by maybe a third to a half as people bridge them all over here. So then you have people FOMOing in to a project that they saw just sold out to only buy what, fight over 800 or so.
Yeah.
And then you just do the math, do the value math. So if you want to play this, there's a lot of ways to play this. I've been thinking this through my head because I own a lot on the Phantom side. Like I went heavy on that last mint. I think I minted 30, and I've sold like 5 and given away a couple. So I'm wondering, um, do I stake mine, or do I see how many people stake and bridge theirs over and see how crazy the floors start going on
Mm,
AVAX real quick, and
mm.
then bridge 10, 15 of mine over to AVAX,
I didn't
sell
even
them for
think
a
about
quick
the
profit.
staking aspect. Yeah. How many are gonna get locked up via staking?
A lot,
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot.
You're
So
damn right.
this is
100%.
this it's going to be wild. And if you're wondering, if you didn't hear about this, if you're wondering why Astro Kids isn't stakeable yet, you're like, that was the first one. Why isn't it stakeable? Well, we're not able to bridge it yet because that was done through multi-chain. But that should be coming very soon. I think their team's getting with teens and going to open up and let us do a big party and like bridge them over. And so when we do that, then we'll enable staking. So that may be like month 2. So this runs for a month, and then Astro Kids is next, hopefully. But we didn't want to give people on other chains, not didn't want them not to have the opportunity to stake because that wouldn't be fair. So we have that, and then the last one I want to talk about is Cyber Fantomic by Black Cat Dead. He came over from Tezos and ETH, came to Phantom. He releases 1 NFT a day in his one of one collection, and one of his one of one collections, he is a beast. You saw him. Were you watching? Did you make it on when he was
Yeah.
doing the live art in our
Yeah.
Discord?
He's incredible.
I've never seen someone work with such efficiency and skill. Like he just goes like he's absolute beast. But this collection's incredible. There's only 888. It's priced at 30 Phantom. We'll have to deliver 50 of them to the Ultimate Pass holders. And so that leaves about 838, not about, exactly 838 for public mint. 10 of them. The legendaries are so cool. They're just these mystery legendaries that have a question mark on them. And you get to design any of, you get to cash that in, or you could sell that if you want to somebody who wants to build a legendary more than you. And you get to pick from any of the art assets. There's over 16 billion combinations. So you get to pick from any of those, create your own. So if you want to try to create the most rare one in the collection, once you create it, the metadata will be swapped out for your new image. And so you could create the rarest one in the collection if you want, or you could just go with what's most aesthetically pleasing for you. So super excited. But man, if you like bright colors and you like just awesome art, you're going to love that project. And he's an artist to bet on. I mean, his one-on-one stuff is good. He's in the Tomb Heads auction every week. I mean, he's a beast.
Yeah, Black Cat is just another level. His art style is just incredible.
Yeah. So
Uh,
I think people are still
before
sleeping.
we leave, I
Yeah.
want to touch on just for a second, going back to AVAX and underrated projects.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of Rat Pack, I'm just taking a look at Rat Pack Mafia over here on Kalau. 1,000 items has now reached over 526 unique owners. I've never
Wow.
seen floors so thin. The floors literally
Yeah.
get so insane so fast because there's
And
so few
Zombie
listed.
Zombie is someone that I don't know. I think maybe he just hung out like in his own Discord a lot, but now that he hangs out in ours and he's one of our artists, like, and I mean, I see him everywhere. He's come into his own so much as an artist and just in his confidence. And so I'm super excited. I mean, some of his community collection stuff, his Astro Kid he did. I mean, he's incredibly talented. So the future for that project, while we, haven't talked about it a lot, his Barnyard Cats will be coming out. It's going to be incredible. So excited for that. But just let's talk about the next 4 weeks. All right. We've got Acid Cats tomorrow. We have Cyber Phantomic Friday. Next Friday, Danetron. The Friday after that, we have Necro with his. The Friday after that, Bot Boy with the Bot Squad chickens. And in between, we might have some. We also have the elves we have to release. Like we have Creatures of the Cave. This may happen this week, which would just be too much in one week, in my opinion. Too much greatness. But the Burn 5 creatures from Gen 2 to create your own custom one, that one is coming out very soon. Just it's going to be the most fun month. NFT staking launching today. Our party starts in an hour and 25 minutes for the baby punks. Like we got so much, y'all. I'm so excited, and I have some huge alpha for the gigapunks. So originally, hey, just a fun mint. Let's save Phantom. Let's make people happy, and because of the response in the community, we didn't want to just leave that as like, hey, I got a cool image, it's a cool memory, but we've got some really cool utility that I'm going to be announcing at the mint party. And I will say this: if I've got to look if we have one or two Fang passes to still create and swap out. But we are now at 50 created, 50 ultimate passes created. I think a 51st, someone just bought a Fang pass today, and that was his missing one. So we'll be at 51 soon. There's only 60 possible ultimate passes, so 60 Fang passes that will be in existence. I think we're at 58 or 59. Can you see that real quick on NFT Key under Platinum passes? How many Fang passes there are? Um, let's see. 59. So we have one more. We only have one more. So I'll go ahead
Yeah.
live right now and say if at the Cyber Fantomic Mint, if we have 200 people on, just for the mint part, it doesn't matter what happens with the mint. If we have 200 people on, we'll give away that Fang Pass. The floor on those is 1,500 Phantom right now. And so I hope we're giving that away Friday. But that's all I got, man. Tinfoil, you got anything else?
No, you killed it.
Dude, I'm so fired up. We could talk about this crap all day. Oh, yeah, that's all we do is talk about
Yeah.
this all day, just not on camera. So,
Love
for
it.
everyone listening, watching, commenting live, thank you guys so much. 21 of you on here. And my mom and Tinfoil's mom are part of that group. Thank you every week for logging on. I'm just kidding. We gotta pad the stats, get those views up. So, um, hey, thanks for tuning in. Please share it on Twitter. Let people know about this. If you're a collector of was talked about today or an artist, tag them with the link. Let them know. Let's get the word out there and let's shed some light on all the good things happening in Phantom and AVAX NFTs. So for True Voodoo, Tinfoil, for Tinfoil, I'm True Voodoo. That's how it works. Plot twist in the background, making it all work. We'll see you next week on NFT Alpha.